Now then, people, it's Joe, it's All Leeds TV, it's Monday Night Football, my favourite time of the week. I say that on every stream, though, to be fair, so I'm just talking rubbish, but it's a show that I enjoy. As you all know, we get two Leeds fans on, we have a chat about the current goings on at Leeds United, the previous game, etc., and then towards the end of the show, we'll do our guests 1 to 5, their best Leeds five-a-side team. Please smash a like on the stream, share, subscribe. As you'll all be aware as well now, we have set up members. You can join the All Leeds TV Members Club. And just before we get into the video, I'm just going to shout out our latest new members. We've got Jaguar Skills, who has joined at Sergeant Wilco level. So welcome, Jaguar. We've got White Peacock, who is at Bielsa level, and finally Helen Walker as well, who has also joined up at Bielsa level. So I just want to welcome them guys to the latest members club. That's going to take some getting used to, remembering to do that. And I just want to remind everyone as well that this video is sponsored by Football Prizes. Football Prizes offer a number of signed, authenticated, I think that's the right word, merchandise. I myself won this Bielsa medal. The medal's gone because my son likes to play with it, but it's signed by the man himself. I need to find it. Oh, it's there. It's on the floor. It's on the floor. There you go. So you know, you've got to be in it to win it and all that stuff. There are no current Leeds United prizes because guess what? They're all sold out. I'm not surprised, to be honest, because we know what Leeds United fans are like. Once something available, they normally snap them up. So as you can see, the Melier one's out of stock, but you can get yourself a Shevchenko signed up for him, Ukraine montage, a Laporte City shirt, Rafael van der Vaart signed boot, a Rangers prize, and many more. I think there's a signed Anthony Joshua glove on there as well. But yeah, that probably might be worth a bit because after he's fought Fury, we'll probably never see him again, to be fair. So that might be a decent, decent prize. People might not agree. That's just my opinion. Well, let's just get stuck into our guests. First of all, Paddy Miller previously of Talking Shut fame. He's gone into early retirement. How you doing, Paddy? All right?
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. Cheers for having us back on.
Yeah, back on. It's funny because I said, yeah, Paddy, we'll get you back on. And I says, I need you 1 to 5. And he went, mate, I've already done it. And I had to check with Oscar. I was like, has Paddy really done it?
I must have been terrible first time, mate.
No, not at all, man. It's just, honestly, yeah, my head sometimes. Not a great memory. But we've got your dad's 1 to 5, which I'm looking forward to a little bit later on.
Yeah. To be fair, when you were going through players on phone asking him what team, and he must have named about 50 different players from the 70s. I was like, Dad, you need to pick 5. Trying to narrow it down for him were hard.
Yeah, we'll have to try an 11-a-side one. Get your dad in on that. Get the 11-a-side one going. Ellis from Away Days, how you doing, my man? All right?
I'm very good, thanks. How are you all doing?
Good, mate. Yeah, good. Oscar's, as we were just talking about off air, has just about, well, doesn't sound like he's still got over the fact that you outdid him on the weakest link, mate.
I know. Still bitter. I'm still bitter about it. I'm not going to lie.
Well, my knowledge was just world class. That was the thing. Like, it was hard.
To be honest, mate, that Robert Molyneux question, I wouldn't have had a Scooby-Doo, if I'm being totally honest.
Yeah.
And I think Gary was a bit harsh as well when Gary was like, I think you should have got it right because you're wearing the top that he would have worn. And I was like, that's a bit harsh, Gaz. Come on. and to be fair, I'm still not over the fact that Gaz and Rob snaked me, to be fair, in the semi-final, man, because I'd have dusted either of them in the final, I reckon, anyway. So that was good. Oscar, how are you doing all right?
I'm good, mate. I'm doing good. You know, just buzzing to see Mr. Robin Koch back, you know. Just buzzing to see him there. But yeah, all the sense back's almost back. And obviously we're going to have a little discussion about that later on, aren't we? We're going to have a bit of a discussion about that. But just buzzing. Another game in 4 days. What more can you ask for?
No, exactly, yeah. And it's a known fact that Oscar loves cock. So, you know, it never gets old.
Out of context.
No, you do really like Robin, of course. So it'll be, I'd imagine he'll be in your 2, but we'll have to have a little chat about that. There's a few comments in asking about becoming members. Guys, if you want to become a member, just jump onto our YouTube homepage. Unfortunately, for some reason, you can't do it on the mobile app. So if
Yeah,
you've got it
noticed
on
that
your
last
mobile,
night.
yeah, it's a bit of a ball ache, to be fair. So either jump on Safari or get it on your laptop PC. You should be able to join the members club there. And big shout out to those that already have. Remember, if you get in at the Don level, you will be able to join us on our live post matches. So we'll be making that go live for Fulham on Friday night. So if you've got any thoughts on that game and you want to join us live on the stream post match, then you can do that if you join the Don level. But let's go to our guests then. First of all, Paddy, we'll start with you. Obviously, yesterday, was it yesterday? No, it was Saturday morning. We got what I consider to be a fantastic point against a very good Chelsea side at Ellen Road.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I didn't think, being perfectly honest, I didn't think we were going to get anything from the game, especially the way Chelsea, I think they're on an 11-game spin, weren't they? Hardly conceding. I know we didn't score, but to come away with a point, it was pretty much for me a free hit. I think when you look at the fixtures during the season, you kind of pinpoint which games you want to win, which games you want to draw. And for me, that was just an added bonus point. For me, there's no fear of relegation, nothing like that. I personally think we're safe now. I just think it just boosts it for us. And it's one of them, I thought that the performance overall were really good. I thought in the first 5 or 6 minutes, they got in behind us a couple of times where I kind of thought this is going to be a long afternoon, this. I think when Havertz had a chance at the front post. But we adapted quite well. And I thought defensively, we looked pretty solid. I know if you look at, it's easy to look at the stats of a game and go percentages and shots on goal. But if you look at it, apart from Havertz's chance in the second half, we probably had the better chances. You're looking at Rodrigo's free header in the second half. Should do better for me with that header from the corner. But overall, we take it, don't we? And we move on to Fulham. Gives confidence. And I think, obviously, like Pascal Struijk said, it shows that we can compete against the top teams, doesn't it? And if we're putting in a performance like that against Chelsea, you're looking at Fulham Friday and you're going, there's no reason why we can't go and win that.
No, I agree. I remember we spoke prior to the game and you asked me for my prediction and I said, I didn't even want to give you one because I was like you, I think even Oscar mentioned when we did do our predictions, I said 1-1 and he said, you think we're going to lose, don't we? You never go for a draw. And I was like, I'm not saying anything. But I honestly, I was not confident at all. So it was a really well thought point, I felt. Really, really good. And you make a good point about, this relegation talk. For me, it's just not warranted. And I'll tell you, I'm going to plug it. I did it on the Just Joe Football Show. That's my new channel. If you haven't gone over, please go over and check it out. All right.
The JJ. That's what I'm calling it now. The JJ Show.
The JJ Show.
Didn't we have a sweepstake on that? 8 minutes, is it? 8 minutes. And you mentioned
to be fair, this is the first time I've mentioned it. To be fair. I only did.
It's definitely not.
I did only set it up on Saturday. So.
First time today.
First time today, yeah. But the only reason I mention it is because I was talking about Southampton, right? And Southampton have lost 10 out of 12 games. And if you speak to their fan base, they're not even concerned about relegation. No. They're in 14th and they've lost 10 out of 12 and they're still in 14th.
Was it on Match of the Day where they were asking the pundits and they said, do you think Southampton are safe? And they all said, yeah. But then and we're above them in the league. I think if I'm one of them, I'd always rather look up the table than down. So if you look at relegation, we're 10 points clear. You flip that, we're 12 points off 5th, off Europe, if you flip it. And if you said to a Leeds fan, are we going to catch Europe? 90% of us will go, no, not this season. Yeah, however, when you flip it the other way, you probably get 50% go, well, we could go down. And it's a bit of a strange one for me. But I think we'll pretty much finish of where we're at now.
Yeah. Which I did get carried away earlier on in the season. I was convinced we were getting Europe for a little period of time. But yeah, my mood flip-flops just every day to day, really, to be fair. But with Leeds, I was like, we're going to get Europe at some point. But yeah, I think, can you imagine though, Pad, if Leeds lost 10 out of 12, just how bad our fan base would be, mate?
I know. Well, to be fair, it's one of them where because we don't draw that many games, because we win a couple, lose a couple, points-wise, it works out better for you. So I'd rather be in a position like us than what Fulham are on. I think Fulham have drawn quite a lot recently, but they can't. And if you're looking at the game on Friday, they have to beat us. They have to come out and win. And I think it'll suit us because at the end of the day, they have to come out and get the goals. While I know we won't play like that because obviously Bielsa plays attacking football constantly. But I think it'll suit us on the counter if they come at us. Yeah.
No, I agree. Yeah, and like you said, the difference is now to that other game is they've got to come and get something. They have to win. Especially, I think Newcastle play Brighton as well on Saturday. So that's huge for Fulham. If they pick up 3 points, one of them drops, they could be out of there, I think. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. But, Ellis, what were your key thoughts, mate, on Saturday morning's fixture?
I actually had a weird feeling we were going to win. And we were like a Mendy fingertip away from winning. And I don't know. I think it's clear to see that as much as I don't want to dig players up, like if Rodrigo was fully fit and started ahead of Roberts, I think we would have looked even better. Like as good as Roberts, he did well attacking wise. I think he was actually one of our better players. But in terms of like if you watch us pressing, he's always one that's a bit more lazy than the rest of the players. There was times on Saturday it really frustrated me. There was like chances for 50-50s, and Roberts was kind of walking around, and it was annoying me that he wasn't pressing forward. But Meslier, once again, I think that's one of his better performances this season. I thought he was so good. Like shot stopping wise, he's like already a world class developed goalkeeper. There's other stuff in the game that obviously isn't there yet. I just thought it was a really great performance. Phillips was great, and I thought defensively, like you said earlier, we were sound. I didn't really feel at all like Chelsea were going to win that at any point. But a point is a great point. Like you said, they are free hits. Like we're not at that point yet where we can go into a game like that and think, that's a win. And I know that maybe frustrates a few people, but it's going to take a few seasons. Like we're so far behind financially with the money that these clubs have pumped in over the last decade or so. I was pretty impressed with our performance.
Yeah, no, you bang on. And I think we have to be real, right, Ellis? Because when I say it's a free hit, we get quite a lot of comments going, it's not a free hit. Well, Leeds United. And I understand that. But, sorry. At the same time, we have to be real and understand where we are currently, don't we? And going up against a Chelsea side that spent billions, got a new coach, unbeaten in, I think, 11 they were, beating Atletico Madrid. It's a great point, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And, like, if you look at Chelsea's side, like, we brought in Llorente and Koch as centre-half in the summer. Would either of them have been recruited? Chelsea, like, even our recruitment is, like, as much as I think they're great players, like, the players they can bring in for 20 million because of the players they can attract with the name in European football is better than a player we can attract for 20 million. And I think people need to realise that, like, we just aren't yet. Maybe 3 or 4 seasons, I think we genuinely will be. I see us being like a Leicester, in all honesty. Like we will be competing in and around there. I think football's such a monopoly now that these clubs, like, they've got such. They can just, if they have a bad season, they'll just throw money at it again. Whereas for us, we need to be realistic and say, like, these are free hits at the moment. Like we've done. I think you talk about relegation is because of my generation. All we know is pain. So it's like, oh no, it's happening again. But I think fine. I think it's not fortunate. I think the teams down there are fortunate that Newcastle, Fulham, not Fulham have been all right recently, but Newcastle, West Brom, and Sheffield United being so bad has allowed teams like Brighton to stay up. And I wanted Brighton to go down because I still pictured us taking White back off them, but we'll see.
Do you know what I thought about Saturday as well that I forgot to mention was, even I know Bamford, if he doesn't score for a couple of games, he gets a little bit of criticism. But when he went off, how easy they got through the press. Yeah. How easy they played through us without Bamford up top. And it just showed, as soon as he went off for me, what he brings to us. Yeah.
Me and Tash had a bit of a healthy debate after West Ham, and she made the point saying we need a replacement or someone to be able to bring off the bench to replace him. And I said, I did say 150 million, but I said to get a player to include all facets of Paddy's game, but be a better finisher, you're talking top dollar. Like, and we paid 7 million for this guy at the end of the day, probably rising to 10. It's probably hit 10 now, the fact that we're in the Premier League, etc. But you're right, man, Paddy. I think we lost everything. And Rodrigo came on and was subbed back off, and he gives us so much, doesn't he, Oscar, Paddy, at the top, that it was glaring. You could see the difference.
Yeah, I remember Chris Kelly was saying in the comments. I remember when Rodrigo was coming on saying, "No," kind of thing. We're gonna lose the game now because we're going to lose all the pressing and Chelsea just be able to play through us. And to be fair, it took us a good 20 minutes to adapt after Bamford went off. Chelsea started to get back on top in the game, and we, in the end, we fought our way back into it. But yeah, it was just so easy for him to get the ball into the midfield and then into the wingers, and it was difficult for us after that when Bamford went off. And I guess looking at the positive side of when Bamford went off, I think it helped us all appreciate just how good he is, even when he's not scoring. Even against West Ham, look, he should have scored against West Ham. There's no doubt about it. But we're still a better team. There's no doubt about it. With Bamford in the team, they're not in the team. Even if he can be frustrating from time to time, and he might not be in the best of goal-scoring form, he still has to be number one, even ahead of our former Spanish number 9, because that's an interesting little development as well today. Rodrigo getting dropped from the squad.
He played any games though, has he? Hasn't played any games. He's only
I was surprised.
I'm quite happy he's not got picked.
Definitely.
The last thing we'd want is him to go away and break down again when he's not fit.
True.
So I'm quite happy.
Yeah. What did you make to the Rodrigo situation, Paddy? What are your thoughts on it?
I didn't really think of it until I went on Twitter. I was watching the game and then obviously went on Twitter and people were discussing it. And I could see one of my mates, Nicky, was on about it. And he said, it's a good point. He's on a yellow card. And if Bamford's gone off injured and he somehow picks up a second yellow, we miss him. And then there were another side of it where playing in teams, sometimes when players are coming back from injury, they're only allowed 50, 60 minutes from sports science aspect. So if he's got that, Bielsa feels like he's worked to a maximum and he's on an overload, then get him off. We can't risk him pulling something or getting injured when we don't know what condition Bamford's in and we need him.
Yeah. And Ellis, what are your... Because the way I see it is, I would rather, maybe some people, I think when it first happened or when we've seen people get hooked by Bielsa early in games, it was quite a shock, quite a surprise. It's not something that's done a lot. But I much prefer my coach or Leeds United's coach to make them sort of decisions than to think, do you know what, I better not sub him off, and have a not 100% Rodrigo just ambling through the rest of the game, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think when I was watching it, the commentator was like, "Oh, Rodrigo looks so shocked." I was like, I didn't think he looked that shocked. I think at this point, everyone knows to trust Bielsa. He knows more about football. He's got more football knowledge in his right finger than I do, his right hand than I do in my entire body. I trust everything he does. And I remember when Strike off against Villa, and he looked visibly demotivated by it. But then the next week he was fine. It's completely fine. I think the players just trust him so much that it's. And I think even though Rodrigo he's played at the top level, and he's played at Champions League football and stuff. I still think even he buys into it. And I think maybe him being dropped by Spain, maybe him being subbed off, we'll see a lot more from him in a few weeks. I'd like to think anyway. I don't know. Has there been any update on Bamford's injury? How long is he actually out for?
We haven't really heard anything yet. I've not seen anything.
Apparently, just a dead leg was Phil Miles thought it was just a dead leg. So hopefully that's not going to be.
It looked like his hip to me. It did look like his hip, but
it looked a bit more serious than that. But yeah. I mean, it'd be interesting. Hopefully, it is just a dead leg. That means he might play Fulham. To be fair,
yeah, you would hope so.
The saving grace in that would be that I would like Geldart to actually get some minutes. I feel like he deserves it, but we'll see. Maybe last 5 games of the season he might get some minutes.
Yeah, I don't see it, and the reason I think if we have a different coach and we're safe, they would give him. But with Bielsa, he wants to win every single game. So if he doesn't think he's going to add anything, he won't play him. Whereas if there's a different type of coach, we've seen it with Heckingbottom, for example. He threw in Edmondson, didn't he, towards the end? He was like, I'm just going to give these lads a go. And I don't see... Yeah. Go on, Paddy.
I'm going to say, I think the only difference with that, though, is now we're in the Premier League. So every place is, what, 2 million quid, is it?
Yeah.
So from the board aspect, they'll probably say, no, if we can finish 2 places higher, contributes to a new signing's wages. That's true. It's a big difference, isn't it? So I think I'd love to see some of the young lads given a go when we are mathematically safe. Your Geldart, your Greenwood, just even on the bench, getting 10, 15 minutes, just see what they're like. But from a business aspect, I can completely understand if there's a big difference between money-wise finishing 15th and 12th. It's £6 million.
Do you think Bielsa would though as well?
I think he would,
because I'm not sure.
I think he would if he had the promise that he'd go on wages on a player that he wanted in the summer. Because it's long term, isn't it? So if he knows that that's the difference between getting a signing that he wants for next season to then kick on into the top 10, top 8, then he's not going to cut his nose off, is he?
No. It's a good point, and I guess as well, Oscar, we know if Rodrigo was to show any sort of dissent, we've seen what's happened with Pablo Hernandez. You know, regardless of fitness, and if he's up to this level now at his age, I still think we would have seen more of him had he not reacted in the way that he did when he was subbed that time against Leicester.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can go back to Janssen, you can go back to Lewis Baker and all them lot, you know, in terms of who showed a little bit of dissent, a little bit of doubt in terms of with Bielsa. And, you know, it's interesting in terms of Rodrigo. I mean, it'll be an interesting conversation, I'm sure, this morning. Yeah, Rodrigo finds out he's not in that Spain squad because he'll be thinking, you know, in terms of just from Rodrigo's point of view, not from a Leeds fan, not from our point of view as Leeds fans, he'll be looking at him thinking, blimey, that was my last chance before the Euros to make an impression on my manager for Spain. He'll just be thinking, I want to be the leading man from a country at the Euros. And that's, he'll probably be thinking about that more than he will Leeds, to be honest, you know, at his age and that lot. So, be an interesting conversation. I think it will go one of two ways with Rodrigo now. He'll either be G'd up by, you know, being taken off the pitch and not in that Spain squad, or go the other way. It might well go the way of Pablo Hernandez. I personally think it will go more positive, to be fair. I think Rodrigo's far too good a player to let his standards drop. He's worked too hard, you know, to get himself back into the team. So yeah, I think it was interesting as well. One thing about Bielsa taking Rodrigo off was that I think he planned to bring Click on with 10 minutes to go to try and calm the game down a bit. If it's a 0-0, calm it down a little bit, because Chelsea did finish quite well when they made those subs. And I think he always planned to bring Click on late on in the game, and he could. And realistically, he probably would have took Roberts off, but Roberts was playing that well, a lot better than Rodrigo was on the day. I know Rodrigo's the better player, but if you're going off performance, it had to be Rodrigo, even to know he'd already seen subbed on. I think that's Bielsa, though. Another manager bottles that, that and goes, Roberts off, and then you give him more criticism because they took one of the best attackers on the pitch off. So, yeah, I can understand it. I can totally understand why we did it. And let's be honest, if Roberts controls that through ball off Click with 5 minutes to go when he's in on goal, I think you're talking about a masterclass of a decision there off Bielsa, and we don't even discuss it. We just say, "Oh, that was a good decision, wasn't it?" And that's it's just the way it goes. Sometimes you get a bit of luck, and we didn't on the day.
Make a fantastic point. I think a different manager, like you said, Paddy Bamford doesn't even get his run out. He'd have put Rodrigo straight in. Do you know what I mean?
No, exactly.
Like, this is the thing. Oh, you know, highest ever signing, Spain's number 9. Yeah, he's playing regardless. Put him up top. You know,
another manager would have had Robin Koch playing over Struijk. Because of the price paid and that lot, and that's why we've got to be thankful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I just want to shout out. I'm going to struggle with this, but I'll give it a go. No new porno. Does that sound about right, lads? No.
That's what I was thinking.
No. Welcome to the Sergeant Wilco level new member. Thank you very much for joining up, my friend. Great to see so many members in the chat as well, building that community up. So thank you very much for that. Let's before we do touch on the centre backs, I've just been reminded in the chat as well. Bring Paddy back. Talking shot. I'm sorry. We're writing up a pre-contract agreement as we're live on air. So nice one for watching as well. Make sure you listen to Talking Shot if you don't do already. I'm sure you do. The part of your Leeds staple like everyone else. I've just been reminded as well. I've seen it in the chat and it had totally slipped my mind. We play in London on Friday, Paddy. We're playing in London.
Yeah, I've got it on one of my notes here. I've got London with stars next to it.
Yeah,
I think it'll be the game that we break the London curse for me. I think we'll. Yeah, I think we'll get the win. Yeah, but again, for me, it all depends whether Bamford's fit. That'll be the team sheet will be a big thing for me. I think that's potentially the only change. If Bamford's fit, I think he starts. And I think that probably is the only change, if there is one, because obviously for me, I'd always play Rodrigo over Roberts. However, obviously Bielsa's quite loyal, and for the last few games he's played him, hasn't he? So I can't see there being many changes.
No, I can't. So who would be exactly same lineup as last time out? Just, I guess, if Paddy's not fit, Roberts to lead the line, and then would you put Rodrigo or Click in?
I'd probably go Rodrigo personally.
Yeah,
I'd go Rodrigo. I'd keep the team pretty much the same. Just got a point against Chelsea, looking pretty solid, and we created chances where we could have won it. I think the player for me that went under the radar going back to the Chelsea game was Dallas. I thought he was outstanding. He was my man of the match for me, Dallas. I thought he was really good, and I thought he was really disciplined in what he did. And I thought that if he hadn't played that well, I don't think we'd have got a 0-0 against them.
Yeah, he was great, man. And I think this is the thing. I think Luke Ayling for a period of time, although I think his levels have dropped slightly, but sometimes like Luke, especially in the early parts of the season, and Dallas, they're so consistent, and you expect it from them that when they have these performances, they can go under the radar because it's just we expect it. We expect it. Ellis, what do you make to the London curse, mate? Because where my head is like, apparently it does get spoken about because Paddy Bamford mentioned it on the official Leeds podcast and said how they'd had words about it. Because I was saying on the last show that we did, it can't be a thing because you can't tell me Rafinha, for example, or Rodrigo's putting the boots on down at Craven Cottage saying, "Oh God, we're playing in London, we're going to struggle." But what do you make to this whole London thing? I think it's 2017 since we won at QPR.
I think it's like, it must be. I think it does play in the mind. I've seen loads of things that footballers have spoke about saying, like, these things do play on your mind. It's just trivial, isn't it? Like, think of the teams we've played in London, and like how the favourites we've been going into them games. It's mental. I personally want it to end away at Chelsea. I want it to end as quick as possible, but if it can end anywhere, ending it at Stamford Bridge would be pretty sweet. But I think, like you said, like Paddy said, I think we will beat Fulham by a couple. I think everyone's sort of forgetting how bad Fulham actually are. They've had a decent form and they've had a bit of fire about them. But like you said, we need to win, which is perfect for us. I think we'll put a couple past them.
Yeah, it's right, isn't he, Oscar? I think at the end of the day, when Scott Parker looks at the fixtures, City, yes, they could do with a win, but it's not really, on the face of it, a winnable game, if that makes sense. Of course, over 90, anyone can beat anyone. But he's got to look at this Leeds United side on Friday and say, we've got to win this if we've to have any chance. Especially, I think, the fact that Newcastle and Brighton play. It's massive for Fulham.
In fact, Brighton won yesterday at Southampton. Yeah. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. I thought Southampton...
They actually scored 2 goals, mate, which is a shocker.
They did.
You'll find that on the Just Joe Football Show. Sorry.
But yeah, no, look, I think you look at that off Brighton winning that game. It wasn't one you expected to win. Obviously, Newcastle got that result against Villa. So the pressure's on Fulham. They're definitely going to come all out against us. I think they're probably going to play a bit more front foot than what they did at Ellen Road. I think they're a much better team. That team that played us at the start of the season, we bassed them, really. I know it's a 4-3 game, but it was daft how we let them back into it, really.
We thought we were going to get 7, didn't we, mate?
Well,
we were watching it when we're hammering them. We're going to get loads, man, because we did batter them.
Batter them. Then we had just a weird 10-minute spell when I think Melier went for a cross, completely missed it, and then Mitrovic taps it in, and then the other goal, I think, was a deflection. And all of a sudden, it was quite a cagey finish to the game, but we bassed them, really, over the... And there was that penalty as well on that Koch gave away early doors, and... really, it was a pretty dominant performance from us. We just did some daft things at the back, and I just think we're a better team now as well. So I'm pretty confident we can break it. But again, I've been saying this since Millwall away in 2018 at the start of the Bielsa reign, that we're going to break that London curse one day. We're going to do it one day. And but I do genuinely think we can do it this time. I think you look at Fulham, they are playing better, but I just think we're so solid at the back now in terms of keeping clean sheets, doing things well. I think Bamford's... You look at the law of averages, Bamford's going to get another goal soon as well. He's going to hit that goal trail again. And I don't see why it can't start again. on Friday night. I honestly don't. I think we've got a really nice balance there. Dallas and Roberts, Dallas and Rodrigo. Either way, I think it works. You know, in terms of, yes, I agree with Ellis that Rodrigo, Roberts, they don't contribute as much to the press. Certainly Rodrigo, but when you've got Dallas next to them, it's like an extra man in midfield. You know, he's our Kante, really, Dallas. You know, he's just absolutely everywhere. He just does a little bit of everything for the team, and he just allows Rodrigo or Roberts just to have that free role. And I just think it was very noticeable that Roberts had his best game for us this season when he was playing alongside Dallas rather than Click. And I love Click, but Dallas just gave him that extra bit of freedom, I thought, on Saturday. So I'm really confident that we could have beaten Chelsea had it not been for Mendy producing 2 unbelievable saves. I just think if you give us those chances against Fulham, give us that much possession, we'll have a lot more of the ball. I think we are going to break that London hoodoo, and it's our last chance this season. We're going to take it. We're going to take it and probably put Fulham down in the process.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
I love Fulham away, though. I love that. It's a cracking away day, you know. Much better than Brighton. Oh, it's yeah.
I think the next 2 games are big for us, though. Just in I don't fear us any relegation. I just think they're big in terms of not letting the season just tail out into a non-runner for us, just to keep it competitive. Yeah. I think if we can get 4-6 points from the next 2 games, which we should, that sets us up nicely just for the City, Liverpool, Man U, which are 3 massive difficult games in running.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
So, but I think if we do get 4 or 6 points from the next 2, I know we've said it at the start of the show and before when we were chatting and that, the next 3 games and the 3 games where we're not expected to get anything. So if we do, it's bonus points, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. We've got some members chat just putting in. It doesn't reflect on here, but some of the emojis that you can use, guys, on the members chat. Some pictures of Rafinha going in. Rafinha to get a hat trick against Fulham.
He's due one. He's due a performance, shall we say? In terms of the last couple of games, he's been a bit more quiet. I back him.
Yeah,
you know, in terms of against.
Go on, mate. Sorry.
No, I definitely back him. I definitely back him to turn up. And just on that Sheffield United game, I can genuinely see Paul Heckingbottom not being in charge by then. I can genuinely see them thinking, right, this is going to get like Derby County levels of embarrassing from all those years ago. Because my word, yesterday, I mean, we had Locks, the messages he was sending through. I mean, bit disturbing.
I felt sorry for Hal.
Yeah,
I felt sorry for Hal. Let's just have a little bit of a chat about it, man. Let's have a just quick little chat about it. I think obviously Chris Wilder's gone, and Paul Heckingbottom and Jason Tyndall have took.
Did you see his interview? Did you see his pre-match interview? What he was saying in that, like, says, I can't do his accent. To be fair, but he was just like saying, yeah, I've never met them before. I'll be honest, never met them before. I was in a completely different building. I didn't think I'd be able to manage them because of COVID and that lot. I'm in a different bubble and that lot. And he's just going on about that. Like, he kept saying, like, about 10 times in like the 3-minute interview, I've not worked, just to emphasise he's not worked with them before. So the results
because he knew they were going to get spanked.
That's it, exactly that. He started Billy Sharp up top, trying to press like Fofana.
Did you see Billy Sharp's interview?
Yeah, he was fuming, wasn't he?
He was raging. Yeah, it looked like he was going to cry at one point. To be fair, I think what do you make to it, Ellis? I think the best thing I've seen is obviously on social media is Chris Wilder saying we've got these muppets from Leeds, Bamford, Forshaw, and then there's also pictures of them when they got promoted on the team bus singing Leeds. Yeah. Leeds are falling apart again, and now they've been relegated, mate. They're absolutely woeful, and they've got Paul Heckingbottom in charge.
How on earth he's hit at a time when this has happened is mental. Like, he is like Wilder. It took them from League One to hit like what the job he's done is like he should have been untouchable. Like, if I had a Football Manager save of Sheffield United, I took them from League One to the Prem, nearly got Europe, then got relegated, and then I got sacked, I'd be fuming. But I think Paul Heckingbottom, it's just he must be so confused. He must be more confused than anyone. He must, because he's useless. Like, genuinely useless. Like, the football we played under him was shambolic, and I don't understand how this has happened. Like, it's funny, but it's also just worrying that people involved in like big decisions at clubs can end up making these decisions.
I think where it's come from is obviously Wilder's got his recruitment so wrong, and they've backed him. You know, the Brewster signing, the McBurney signing, they can't hit a barn door, so they've said to him, We want to bring in a director of football. And obviously he's not having it. Staunch Yorkshireman, been there since League One, like you say, and they've gone up through the things, and he's probably not used to this sort of stuff. I mean, he used to manage Halifax Town in Northampton, and for him to go up and be told, we're going to get someone to help you out, I think he needs to swallow a bit of his pride and accept it. What do you reckon, Paddy, rather than just saying, I'm not having that?
As a manager and the way he played, and he came into the Premier League and how they played, I thought they played really good football. They were good to watch. But as a person, his comments about the Muppets from Leeds, and it were it got a bit obsessiony with Leeds when there were no need to at that point, rather than enjoying his promotion. So for me, him getting sacked, I don't feel sorry for him whatsoever just because of those comments about Leeds. However, if I'm thinking of a football fan, not a Leeds fan, I don't understand why they would sack him. Surely he would have been the perfect man to get them back up. And then you're looking at the market and you're going, who are they going to bring in that's any better than him? And people go, they could bring in Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe got Bournemouth relegated and spent more on wages. And you think, how's it an improvement? I'm all, for example, if you look at us, if we'd have come up this year and we'd have played attacking football under Bielsa, we hadn't changed, it'd have been absolutely slaughtered in the press but 9 out of 10 genuine Leeds fans would have said, stick with Bielsa, we don't want anyone else. We want to go again. And I think that's a bit what the feel I get from Sheffield United fans, that they didn't want anyone else and they wanted him to be the person to bring them back. And you just think, like Ellis said, the people that make those decisions at the top, you have to genuinely question. They're not football people, clearly, are they? They're just thinking from a business aspect. So they're trying to do it with Heckingbottom on the cheap. And I think that says more about the club as well, that them players don't know Heckingbottom. If you look at our under-23s with Mark Jackson, the first-team players play for the 23s all the time. They integrate with each other. So if anything did happen and Jacko, for whatever, was on caretaker, like in that sense, he knows the players because they've all played for the 23s. So I'd be questioning the club as well from a development aspect.
Yeah, it is really mad. And I think, I don't know if you agree, Oscar, once Sheffield United go down, I think they'll struggle to get back up. Yeah. Whereas if Wilder's in charge, they probably don't.
It's going like the way Sunderland, it's similar way to how it went to Sunderland kind of thing. You think the whole club, I think it's more like the board. I think it's a bit of a mess in terms of how they just seem like, even, think before Wilder turned up, Sheffield United were a sinking ship, as Hal said on Friday. They were going closer to League Two than what they were back into the Championship. So, there's no reason to say that without Wilder now gone. And let's not forget, Wilder, I think, won 7 of his last 14 games, which for a team like Sheffield United, I know it's all competitions, but that's not the kind of form where you say, if they'd have done this in Christmas when they were like on 2 points and hadn't won the game for like half a year, you could possibly say, okay, maybe you could do it then. But when you actually start to pick up results, it seems crazy to me. And when you got Heckingbottom in charge, I mean, I just remember from Heckingbottom's time, the biggest thing from a Leeds United point of view was when Samu Saeeds got subbed off early in a game, and he was just looking like this to Victor Orta. It was Ellen Road, and he was looking up the box like this, just saying like, what's happening here, kind of thing. And that just summed it up for me. And that was like after 2 weeks of Heckingbottom being in the job, no control of the dressing room. And let's not forget, I think he played for Sheffield Wednesday as well. I think I saw the other day. He actually played for Wednesday, so he's not going to. I can't see him even seeing out the season, to be honest. I think I think I saw Lee Bowyer's left Charlton. I'm maybe 2 + 2 together. Are they looking at him for the Championship campaign? I don't know, but he resigned from Charlton, so be interesting.
Birmingham job's available though, isn't it?
Yeah,
Birmingham job's available. So
of course it is. Yeah.
In fairness, though, I think the difference with Heckingbottom, the day he got the job, we didn't even want him as manager, did we? The day he got it, we were all like, oh no.
Do you know what? I actually did a video outside Ellen Road for All Leagues TV prior to me even being on All Leagues TV. It was like first appearance. Someone else was presenting it at the time, and I said I was excited by the prospect of him signing. Yeah, I said. He's worked with John Stones and Alfie Mawson. Alfie Mawson was at Swansea at the time, so he's great at bringing in youth. What else? What other comments did I make? So I got asked a question about Cooper being captain, and I says, long-term, no. Is he going to lead us to the Premier League? Not a chance. There were loads, and I was having a go at Roof, saying he was lazy. But I mean, he was then. But then Bielsa came in and he totally.
You do know now people are going to dig for these videos, mate.
Oh, mate, I'm not. It is what it is. These are mate. I always remember the Bamford one. I said I never wanted him to pull on a Leeds shirt again after Derby in the playoffs, and now look at him. It is what it is. You flip flop, don't you? But yeah,
we've all had rants at some point, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Right, cool. Let's go on to this was supposed to be the main agenda, but it's took us 40 minutes to get there, to be fair. But it's always a good chat on Monday. We put out a tweet yesterday, Oscar. Yesterday's draw was the 13th different centre-back partnership Leeds have used this season, and just asked the question. When all our centre-backs are back and fully fit, what is your preferred pairing at the moment? And it did do really well on Twitter, and we got a load of comments and suggestions. So
a lot of different ones. There was not like it was loads of different suggestions. I think there's about 4 or 5 different suggestions. It was interesting, really. It was interesting. I mean,
some even asking for like Jason Pearce and that, weren't they?
Jason Pearce and Scott Wootton. Get them back together. Get them back together. Get the band back together.
There might be an Ellis's 1 to 5 yet. The age he is, you never know.
How grim would that be if Scott Wootton in 1 to 5?
Lee Peltier, love it.
Lee Peltier. Get Stevie Warnock in at left back.
One of my pals says that Scott Wotton's the worst player that he's ever seen play for Leeds. He's adamant he's the worst player he's ever seen.
He's bad. Do you remember he scored on his debut as well, and we'd got him on loan from Man United, and I was like, this guy's good, man. That's how bad it was. Yeah. He scored on his debut. He's from Man United. He must be good.
Mate, I thought Jason Pearce was class in his debut. I remember watching his debut and thinking, I think he was up against like someone like Billy Sharp, but Billy Sharp when he was like proper good kind of thing. And I thought, tell you what, Jason Pearce, what a signing this is off Warnock. And then it just was it.
Terrible, wasn't it? Go on, Ellis, were you going to jump in, mate?
I was just talking to some of the players. Like you guys have had the beauty of seeing like good Leeds teams, whereas like my generation, like I remember being excited when he signed Scott Wootton because he played in the Premier League. That was how bad our recruitment. That's the players I'd seen. I remember when we got David Norris from Portsmouth. I was like, he's a great signing. But how times have changed.
We bought every single crap player from Portsmouth, and the one that was decent, which was Kelly, we missed out on, and he went to have a good, decent Premier League career. We bought all the dud. Do you know what I mean?
We ain't always had it good, mate. We watched Salomon Allende and Rocker Jr., mate. We saw that era as well.
Salomon Allende. Memories.
Yeah. Madness. But yeah, big shout out Chris Kelly, new member in at Don level. Top Don. Yeah, Don Juan. But yeah, Paddy, we'll go to you then. What is your, out of that 4, who would you go with centre-back, mate? Who would be your 2?
Are we on about on Fulham or just generally?
Just if everyone's fit for the rest of the season, who's your centre-back partnership?
I've always been a big fan of Cooper. I've defended him quite a lot, to be fair, when people are slagging him off. I think he's been fantastic for us this season, personally. I think he's played really well. I think you look at like Leicester away, done really well. Obviously, the captain had got us promoted, playing 38, 39 games that season. Yeah. I think long-term for the football club, though, I think that you always reach a point, and I think that we're getting to the point, the players that got us promoted is probably the highest we're going to be able to stretch the ability of some of the players. I think there's always a place for Liam Cooper in the squad. It's just whether he'd be happy going from a captain to a subs bench, because it's a big thing that to take. And I think the club long term, I think if they've gone out and signed Robin Koch, German international, they've gone out and signed Diego Llorente, Spanish international. And I think when they're fit, it's going to be really difficult to get them out of the team, because that's the reason we've gone and spent the money. Personally, I think if we're looking at, if say, for example, they're all fit on Friday, I don't change Struijk and Llorente for me. Being a centre-half, I think you stick with it. They kept a clean sheet, and until one of them has a dip in form or whatever, then you do that. But I think we've seen it with injuries this year. We've seen it with suspensions. We've seen it with different things. At times, we've had to play Ayling centre-half, Phillips centre-half. I think we do need 4 centre-backs. So I think over the course of a season, you're looking at them, and they're all probably going to play 25-plus games each, aren't they, with the cups and everything. But I think if they're all 4 fit, I think all 4 of them are in form, all fit. I think Bielsa would go with Llorente and Koch for me.
Yeah, Lorraine Cock. Just want to welcome Robert Swift, another member in at Don level. Thank you, Robert, for joining us, mate. You will get the opportunity to be on the Fulham post-match if you're at Don level. So if you want to get involved in the post-match little phone-in shows, then make sure you join in at Don level, guys. And of course, we'll be doing a yearly meet-up as well, where we're going to get a guest speaker and all that sort of stuff, rent a little function room in Leeds somewhere, and get someone to come and do a chat for us. Oscar's got contacts, you see.
I can't wait for that,
Yeah,
in the
good.
in the summer. Oh.
Free bar as well, apparently. Oscar's
no, definitely not. Definitely not.
I was hoping everyone was going to get me a drink, to be honest.
No, yeah. Definitely not a free bar. Let me say that.
It's not a free bar.
I watch the members now, they'll go, Monday night, bargain.
You can never tell people from Yorkshire it's a free bar. It's not. Because everyone would just be jumping in just to get the money's worth from the thing now. The Don level members are going to surge now. It's not a free bar, guys. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys.
I think one of the guys in the chat is having it. Go on, mate. Sorry. Go ahead.
It's just interesting. I think, in terms of, I could say any of the four, to be honest. I think they've all got different qualities, haven't they? Coops, you got the leadership. Llorente, you've got the ability to play out the back. You're really cultured in that sense. Robin Koch, a little bit of both of Cooper and Llorente, but maybe not quite as good on the ball as Llorente. In fact, definitely not. And then Struijk, he's up and coming, isn't he? I mean, the numbers when he's in the team and not in the team. I mean, I remember looking at it like last on Saturday. I was thinking to myself, it must be pretty dramatic. And then I actually did a bit of research and I thought, it's like almost half the goals we concede when he's in the team, and it just sums it up in terms of what an influence he's had on proceedings. But it's hard, isn't it? Because you look at, as Paddy said, from Cooper to go from being number one to number 4 in like less than 6 months. It seems dramatic, but it's hard, isn't it? It is hard, and sometimes we're going to play with a back 3. We'll be able to get 3 of the 4 in there, kind of thing. But there is going to be 2 players or at least 1 player who's going to be disappointed out the 4 at the end of it, isn't there?
Right, that was that's
it, yeah.
There, wasn't it? Yeah.
It's crazy numbers, aren't they? It's so you look at it, over 2 goals a game we concede without him in the team, and then just over 1 a game with him in the team, and that's pretty big difference, isn't it, from one end to the other? And that's I know you could argue it's a bit coincidence on it, but I think there's something in that. Being much better, but I think it is going to be interesting, isn't it? I think Paddy's spot on when he says, I think you've got to keep it as Llorente and Struijk just for Fulham, and then you've got 2 weeks then to get Koch to full fitness. Cooper,
so who's your 2 then, Oscar? After the international break, who's your 2?
On the basis that Llorente and Struijk are okay against Fulham, it's hard. It is hard initially to divert from that. Right. But Koch and Struijk long term, I think it's got to be that for me long term. I think in terms of the age factor, I think Llorente's a little bit older than Koch, a lot older than Struijk. I just think the potential in terms of how good that 2 could be. I mean, it's going to sound crazy when I say Diaz and Stones. It's the mini Diaz and Stones. It is though. It is. Stones is the Struijk. He's young, up and coming. He's got that.
Virgil van Strauch, we've coined him, haven't we? Virgil van Strauch.
Exactly. I think there's a bit of potential there. Look, it's not going to be that good. They're not going to be well. If they are that good, they won't be playing for Leeds United, will they? Let's be honest. They will be moving on.
What do you mean?
You know what I mean. But one of them will make it, I think. At least one of them will be part of our Leicester model, and we'll sell them on for big bucks at some point. Or at least keep them for... as soon as I say Robin Koch, all the comments just go...
You've got to remember as well, though, one of them will usually... Because Calvin gets his fair share of injuries or suspensions in a season. He always misses. And you have to remember, one of them, whether it's Llorente or Koch, I'd rather one of them does the holding midfield job, just because I think... Struijk looks chalk and cheese for me from being a holding midfielder to a centre half. And you've got to remember, so it's not just they're not just fighting for those positions. Calvin's there, if he's fit, he starts 100 times out of 100. But the games he's missing, you can also rotate one of the centre halves into that role. And I think that's why they brought in Koch, because he's done it for Germany, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And his old club team, he played there mostly last season. He played most of his games at holding midfield, so he can do it. And Llorente can as well. So it'll be interesting. I can definitely see that, to be honest, Paddy. I think if it's fully fit, I don't expect to see Stewart playing there again, to be honest, if it's fully fit. So it's just great. Isn't it great to have so many different centre-back options?
So
from what we have had. We had Calvin playing there for the first 2 years of the Bielsa at times, didn't we?
This is the exciting thing, isn't it, Ellis? Is for me, like, if we look at this Leeds United squad, where we need to strengthen, now I look at it, and centre-backs now, for me, we're not going to need to worry about strengthening in that area for about 4 seasons. Because they're going to do it in fits and starts. So maybe in this summer, they look at a left-back, someone to help Calvin out, and someone to help Click out, or start ahead of Click. And then next window, who do we go after? Maybe next summer we go after another striker or somewhere else to improve. I just see the centre backs now, for me, based on age and the level that they're at, that we don't need to worry about centre backs now for a very long time. For me,
yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I was going to throw a spanner into the works. I was going to say that if Brighton went down and we could get Ben White for 15-20 million, would you want him?
My answer is no. And I do love him, right? And he is the best centre-back I've seen at the club since Rio. He had that much. That's just my opinion. I thought he was absolutely unbelievable. I'll never forget that first game against Bristol City, where he just absolutely turned Jeju, left him in bits. He was spraying balls left and right. And I was like, who is this kid, man? He is unreal. And I'll never forget that. But I just think we've progressed now. I'm not saying that who we've got are better. I think Ben White's ceiling's crazy. I think, I've seen Man United linked and all this sort of stuff, but I just don't see us going there because we already have 4, and it's done. And I think he costs top dollar as well because he's English.
I think you're right, Joe. I think we prioritised centre halves last summer. That boat sailed. Now we'll move on to left back. That's a priority for us now.
Yeah, I think so. And that who's the left back? Is it Oscar? Is it Parade?
Yeah, he's been mentioned quite a bit. Apparently, though, he's had a bad last couple of games. Apparently, I was reading the other day on. So it'd be interesting if his head's being turned, maybe if he knows he's kind of coming to us. But yeah, he's obviously an interesting one, and that's the thing. You don't want to change too much of the back 4, do you? You don't want to be shaking 2 or 3 changes.
Would you go back already? Would you go back in for White, Oscar?
No, I honestly wouldn't, to be honest. I look at it. I think obviously Ben White will play better for us than what he does for Brighton. I think Brighton are just madly misusing him, to be fair. But to be honest, no. I just look at what Pascal's done. I think Robin Koch's a bit more suited to this league in terms of physicality. I don't think Ben White. I think there's certain games, say like Sheffield United away at the start of the season. I always go back to that game, but when we won 1-0 and just closed it out, it was a really tight game. We saw it out, and they were flying ball after ball after ball in the box. And Robin Koch was getting his head on every single ball into the box, as was Cooper. I don't see Ben White as that, to be honest. I see him more as a Llorente, to be honest, and I just don't see the point of spending the money. When we can spend it on another centre mid, backup goalkeeper, a backup CDM, Even
if they go down, it's still going to cost 35 million, surely.
Yeah. I think it's hard.
Because they're not even going to go down now either, I don't think.
No. It's been that good, though, this season, really, Ben White. I think Dunk's the better of the two this season, to be honest. I think Dunk's really stood up for him when they needed him to, for Brighton.
I think he's got the scissors out there where you were talking ill of Ben White. I just seen him get the scissors out. I was like, what's going on?
I always have to fidget. Sorry, I'm such a fidgeter. Sorry. To be clear, I don't want him back either. I just wanted to throw out the question.
Yeah, no, fair. Love it, mate. Love it. It's good talking point.
I think the problem you've got is I think even if they go down, they'll still demand 30-40 million quid, like Norwich did with Buendia and Cantwell, because they'll just gamble on coming back up from a parachute payment. So they'll say, well, we don't have to lose him. He was a top centre half in the Championship, so we'll keep him.
Yeah, 100%. Just want to welcome Jordan Dix to the Bielsa Level YouTube member. Thank you very much for joining, brother. And
that's 2 pints for him there.
Well, John H has joined in at the Don level. John H has joined in. He must have heard that you mentioned a free bar and he's gone in for the top level. John H. Thank you, everyone, for joining on as members. Remember, there's a load of stuff.
People are going to clip this up now. I'm going to play when they do the members' night. They say, "Oh, it's not a free bar." They're going to play this video of Paddy saying "free bar" and that lot. And we're going to be absolutely stuffed then.
Do you know what? This is a good question. I'll come to you, Ellis, because you brought it up first of all. Focus on Leeds, good friend of the channel. Make sure you check them out on Instagram, Twitter, etc. Says he's still not had an England call-up. Do you think if he'd have continued at Leeds under Bielsa with the trajectory he's on, do you think he might have got a nod for England by now?
Yeah, 100%. I think he would have done. I think he'd have at least got a cap and a friendly. I think it's just one of them weird situations of White. Like, he wanted to move. Everyone knows he wanted to move. Like, it's not he didn't make a secret of it. He never came out and said, I want to stay at Brighton. The fact of the matter is he wanted to move back to us. And I think it, I don't want to make excuses for him. He's not our player, but I think it must have been a knock, surely, thinking, I'm going to play this free-flowing football with Bielsa. I'm not saying Potter plays bad football. I think he's a really good manager. But he went from playing one system with a team that he understood. Him and Phillips were really good friends. And I think it must have. I think he must be sat there thinking he could have been, not saying he would have, but there's a chance he would have been in the squad of the Euros if he'd have stayed at us. But it's one of them, innit? Ifs and buts.
Yeah. It's sad, isn't it? What about you, Paddy? Obviously played the game, centre-back. Do you reckon he'd have...
Yeah, I think if he'd have stayed under Bielsa, the way we played, because let's be honest, he'd have been our big signing, wouldn't he? And we probably wouldn't have got much more as well. We probably wouldn't have got Llorente and Koch because the same money we were going to spend on White, we got on both. So he'd have played most games. He didn't really get injured much, so he'd have played most at season. And I think he'd have shone for us, and he proved it in the Championship, didn't he? And I thought under Bielsa, as a season, like you said, against Bristol, he started really well, didn't he? Where we all kind of thought, who's this guy? And then as the season went on, he just matured a lot as well. And it'd have been nice seeing him back at the club. I think every fan would have absolutely loved him to re-sign for us and get him again. But it's one of those things it wants to be. And I think I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason. But I'm also a big believer in every footballer's replaceable for me. Every player's replaceable. I think you see it all the time, don't you? For example, when, Suarez left Liverpool, Coutinho left Liverpool, every player is replaceable. There's always somebody that can come in and take your shirt and do a just as good job.
100%. 100%, I agree with that. Ellis, who be your centre-back partnership? So we've had Paddy, was Llorente and Strout?
Koch, if they're fully fit.
Koch and Llorente?
Yeah. But on Friday at Fulham, I'd keep it the same. Struick.
Yeah, definitely. And Ellis, what would be your pick?
I'm the same as Paddy. I think they're both a Spanish. How mad is it that about 5 years ago you said we have a Spanish international centre half and a German centre half? Like, all I've wanted all season is for them two to have 5 games together and just see what that partnership would be. There was a point I thought Llorente was never going to happen for him, but he's looked so good, like bringing the ball forward, finding a pass, and I think we need someone like that. And I know Strike can do it, and I know there's clearly a great player there. Look at the clubs that are scouting him. Like, there is clearly, he's clearly great. Like, and it's I think for now, if you were to say for the next year, I think it'd be Llorente and Koch if fully fit, and then Strike can learn from them and then come in. Sadly, I think with Cooper, I think sentimentality is side, like captaining the side to come up. But I think he'd have taken this career, like when he was at Sheffield and he was signed from a friendly, right? Like, I think you said to him, you're Captain Leeds at the Prem. Like, fair play.
100%, mate. I agree with you. And I think, Paddy made him about being the captain. But if we remember rightly, I think I'm right, is that when Monk, he was still captain and he was on the bench because he'd play with Bartley and Janssen sometimes, and then one would get injured and Cooper would come back on, but get the captaincy straight away. So I think it is hard to take, of course, but I think Coop would still do it. And I think Coop must be so good in the dressing room because the fact that every single manager and squad that have come through have always made him captain, I think he'd accept that fact. And we'll have to wait and see. But I think I agree with Pad and Ellis. I'd probably want to go with Koch and Llorente. You make a good point, though, about Ellis as well. Struijk, he's wanted by Netherlands and by Belgium. You don't get wanted by them to play for your international team if you're not any good, do you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's weird. Obviously, just mentioning Bartley, it was almost like he was the precursor to Ben White. Remember, we all wanted him to come back, and we were all please come back, and then it didn't happen as well. He was like kind of the original Ben White.
Yeah. We did all want Bartley back that summer, didn't we?
Bartley at Leeds.
He was
honestly. I always preferred him to Janssen. I just always saw him and thought he looks like a proper Leeds United sort of captain and leader at the back.
He was dominant, wasn't he? That was the word. He was dominant.
How many goals did he score? He must have scored about 8 goals that first season.
Yeah.
That only season he played off just Hernandez corners.
We were mint in the opposition box, weren't we, that season?
Insane. Just last minute belters he used to score.
What was it? I remember, was it Brentford at a home or away where Bartley scored at the last kick of the game, and I was like, we're definitely getting the playoffs. I think it was a Bartley header last minute, and I was like, this is it. This is the team that finally does it. And that happened.
Yeah.
Then Burton away happened, and we bottled it at Burton.
Shocking, mate. Shocking. Bad times. Has Gary Monk got a job yet?
No.
No.
He'll be going for the Sheffield United job, probably.
It's an absolute cretin, that man. Although, to be fair, I didn't want him to go when he went to Borough. But that just shows the measure of the man. I didn't want him to go. He did a good fucking job.
He has to regret it now, doesn't he?
Oh, 100%. Paddy, do you know what I think about all the time? All the time is when I seen Vidra starting getting games for Burnley, and I think about him and I think, I bet you wish you never made that move. And then there was Jufferson, who went to, what was he called? He was supposed to be coming to Leeds, and then he went to Derby.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Jufferson.
Jefferson.
Yeah, that's the one. And then there's and I just think these players, Matt, because I think he's not even at Derby now, and I think these players must look and think, I fucking fucked up big time, not going there under Bielsa.
Do you know what though? I watched Vidra. They played, was it Everton at the weekend, and he actually played well.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, like he'd have done so much more, probably. Do you know what I mean?
I suppose it's one of them. If you don't support, he's not a Leeds fan. So he's got no allegiances to us, and he's probably earned a couple of million sat there.
Probably.
Imagine Charlie Taylor in a Bielsa team. To be fair, at left back, and no disrespect to Alioski, but imagine him at left back swinging balls into the box for Bamford.
If we got offered him for 12 to 14 million in the summer, I'd take it. I think he's really good, Charlie Taylor.
Yeah. I remember
I'd like Lewis Cook back, but he's got injured again, hasn't he, the poor lad?
Yeah.
What you say, Alice? Sorry.
I remember. I was actually at MK Dons away. I think Charlie Taylor scored and won a penalty. Like he was so good. Like I think people forget like that generation. Like what was it? Mo. Mowatt's been amazing for Barnsley, by the way. Like he's actually carrying them on his back at the moment. Like he's been insane, which is good to see. I think. Like I love to see him do well. But like I said, Charlie Taylor 12 million, 100%. Especially if Alioski's going to Galatasaray.
Yeah. Can we have a little chat about that, right? Let's have a little chat about it. I know there's a lot of people, everyone's different, and people won't agree with me on this. But for me, I hate, obviously, that club and Kewell and all that sort of stuff. You know, I very rarely like to speak his name. I see people tweet videos of his goals and that, and I wouldn't even entertain it. Yeah, he was good, but he's a fucking cockwomble, so don't even entertain it. But the Alioski thing, he'd be gone, but you can't blame Gianni, in my opinion, because I know... It's going to be. He has no affinity whatsoever to this football club. It's not the cute. The reason I say it though,
career.
Yeah.
For me, it's just a big no for me. Any Leeds player, you can't do it. And I think what the difference is of Alioski is the fans have really took to him, and I think. And he always says how much he loves the fans, and you can't tell me he doesn't know the history of the club. There are some, whether it's an agent, a family member, or someone at the club, a player, somebody will have mentioned to him about this when they've heard a rumour. And for me, it's just a big no. I know he's a free agent. You can speak to whoever he wants, but you can't tell me that's his only offer on the table.
But
No, I completely agree. I do. Oh, sorry, carry on.
No, go on, Ellis.
I guess there's differences with the Kuehl situation because Kuehl was in the side where it happened. But like I agree with Paddy. Someone at the club, like I imagine, surely Calvin has pulled him aside and said, "Look, because Alioski will have offers, and I want to get back European football, but there'll be offers from somewhere else. Like surely, like I don't know, like Club Bruges or someone like that. Surely someone will reach out to Alioski and say, "You can play European football for us." Like they can't. Why them? Why does it have to be them? Is why I don't get.
Do you know what annoys me a little bit about it? By all accounts, I'm not in the know or anything, but obviously just from what you read online and Twitter and stuff, we've put an offer on the table. So he's turning us down to go there, which is different for me.
Fair.
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah. If he does that, that's it for me. Seriously, he's complete.
And I completely understand it if someone says, I want to go play every week, I want to play European football. I get that, but you just can't mix those two clubs for me.
I get it, and I understand everyone's. But for me, and I've seen some of the comments. At the end of the day, it can't be comparable to Kuehl because obviously Kuehl was there, and he's a fucking. I don't want to say what I would say to him if I ever seen him in public. Do you know what I mean? I genuinely would. Like I can't stand the man, but for me, Gianni's. He's got no affinity to Leeds. If it's the highest offer on the table, do we really expect him to? Can we expect him to do that? We should have expected Kuehl to 100%. But Alioski, I don't know. That's where my head's at. It's just I don't know whether or not he'll know enough. And I know a lot will disagree with this, but I just don't. Yes, rightly so. If he makes the move, that's it. White from history, fair enough.
But that's like saying Gary Monk. We shouldn't have to go with Gary Monk for leaving us for Borough. In effect, for me, in terms of if you're saying that he's got an offer from us and an offer from Galatasaray, and the offer from Galatasaray is better, I don't see what the difference between that and what Monk did. I think it's 10 times worse.
Right, okay, no, I understand that bit. Yeah, I get that bit. They understand, like, turning us down, and that does change the opinion because prior to
if that's the case,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I suppose there is that in there as well.
I just think it's the whole. There is 100% that is not the only offer Alioski is going to get. He'll have other Premier League clubs. He'd get someone a Premier League club who's coming up. I'd have Alioski.
So if Barnsley went up, I'm sure they'd go in and say fancy him at left back in terms of what the.
I think the problem
European football though, isn't there?
I think if it was one of those, do you know how we've had like 500 fringe players that were brought in where it was, we'll sign 500 wonder kids and then one of them will stick when we went through that sort of spell when Victor Orta first came in and we signed loads of players that are on the books. If one of them, like a boy, went and played for Galatasaray, we'd think, it's annoying. We're not happy with it, but let it go. But Alioski's a fan's favourite. I think that's the difference. If you look at a lot of kids have Alioski on the back of the shirts because they love him for his personality and his character and his Gianni cam and all the stuff that the club do with him social media wise. And I just think it's a big no for me, especially how he claims to love the club and love the city and love the fans. It's just a big no for me.
Yeah, no, fair. That's
He'd
fair.
still be playing for Lugano if it wasn't for us. So that's all I'm saying. And I know what you're saying. I 100% know what you're saying, Joe. And if it's us, if you're being offered, 60 grand a year somewhere, 40 grand a year elsewhere, you're going to take the 60 grand offer, aren't you? But I just think with Alioski, in terms of Paddy, he's got a big emotional attachment to this club in terms of, we gave him the dream in terms of playing English football, playing in the Premier League, playing a big part in the Bielsa team and that lot. And I don't see it. To be honest, I don't see Alioski going there. I don't see, for his personality, I just don't see him as that type who would take that move, even if the financial offer's better. Maybe that's naive. There's maybe some players in the team, like a Kiko Garcia, who I could see doing something like that. But I don't see Alioski, to be honest.
I think it is naive. And the reason I say that is because if someone's offering him 10 grand more, do we expect him to turn that down for a 4-year contract, 3-year contract, 10 grand a month more? Can you fully expect him? Let's say it is that. It might not be, but
I don't know
totally different
how
kettle
good,
of
are they
fish.
even in the Champions League? I don't follow anything. Say if they're in the Champions League, it's like I don't know where they are actually. I'd assume they're in the Champions League or Europa League or something like that. Probably Champions League.
I think just out of principle, yes, don't move it, but we've got to factor in the fact that he'll be probably offered more money, etc. I don't know. Anyway, it is what it is. It's a fucking.
I'm just hoping it doesn't happen. I'm just hoping it's all just talk.
I think he'll just ruin his legacy. He could be a legend in Leeds now. That's it for the rest of his life, and he'd be a legend. If he does that, then that's gone, and the legend status, isn't it?
100%. Let's welcome, turn it round to a positive now. Paul Weir, welcome to the Bielsa level, mate. Thank you for joining up as a member. Right, okay, so that's that. Right, just quickly before we do your 1 to 5s, lads. We've got Fulham and Sheffield United next, and then, of course, a mint April. People are nervous, but I can't wait for them games. The Liverpool, City, Man United. I really can't wait for it. It's going to give us a big test, and that's what you're in the Premier League for. But over the next two, just quickly, how many points do we get, Oscar, against Fulham and Sheffield United?
I'd be disappointed if we get less than 4. I'm going to say that much, but I'm going to back us to get 6. But if we get less than 4, that's quite disappointing, to be honest. And that might seem a bit heavy, but I think it's genuinely disappointing if we do.
Paddy?
I agree with Oscar. Yeah, I think if we get anything less than 4, it's disappointed. But I'd back us. If I was putting a bet on, I'd back us to win both.
Yeah, is that the same for you, Ellis? Yeah,
we'll win both. Yeah, Sheffield United is the clear win. Fulham is arguably a draw, but I just think we'll pick them apart. I think it's 2 wins from 2.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I hope so. It'd just be Leeds' dumb luck, though. 7 points. It'd just be Leeds' dumb luck if Paul Heckingbottom's one win in the Premier League came against Leeds United, though, wouldn't it?
It ruins the whole season then. It ruins everything we've done under Bielsa if we lose to Heckingbottom at home.
I know.
Billy Sharp, last minute winner.
Seeing them getting battered 5-0 by Leicester, I just thought we will absolutely hammer these.
They had one shot, didn't they?
Yeah.
One shot. Okay.
I don't know much about what it means, but I think XG was 0, I think, or 0.01 in the first half or something like that. I don't know what that means, but it's
got battered, didn't they? They got absolutely battered.
They did.
It looked like a team that had down tools.
Yeah, 100%. I think they have. That's what I mean. I think they're already like, fuck this, we don't. They probably didn't want Chris to go. Not a chance. He's gave them, some of them players aren't even lower in championship level, some of them, and he's got them playing in the Premier League. They never thought they'd reach it.
The problem you've got when you've got a temporary manager in, if you'd have had Wilder in still, then players are going, I need to play well because I want to be in the team next season and not moved on. Well, because they've got a temporary manager in, you can take your foot off the gas a little bit because you've got no one to impress. Because they'll go, well, he's not going to be here anyway.
No. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's a shit show at their place, and I think we pick up 6 points over the next 2, fingers crossed, hopefully. But, Oscar, it's that time. We've already run over an hour, but it's been a great chat. But, Oscar, it's that time for 1 to 5. Do you want to get the guest teams? Remember, guys...
Yeah, let's go into it.
The members will be posting this on the members poll after for people to vote on who has the best team out of Paddy's dad and Ellis from away days. So, yeah, make sure you check that out.
We'll go to Paddy's dad first. So if you want to talk us, because obviously this is your second time on the Monday Night Football, mate. So we'll explain why it's your dad, first of all. But talk us through the board, first of all, mate.
So obviously Joe completely forgot I'd already made an appearance on here. So he asked for my 1 to 5, and I said, I've already done one, mate. And then obviously he checked and he did. So we're kind of thinking of stuff to do. And obviously my dad been watching Leeds home and away from late 60s, 70s. So I thought, I'll see what his team is. And obviously he went for his team. So he was rattling off, but we must have gone through about 50 different players and he was trying to work it out. And then the team he's gone with, he went with Nigel Martin in net. And obviously when we were kids and he was going to Ellen Road and stuff, he used to say it to me then how good he was. And I think when I was young going to Ellen Road, you don't really kind of appreciate it, how good Nigel Martin was, purely because you think that's the norm, because he was kind of the first keeper I can really remember where I came in and was like, wow. And then you kind of realise once Nigel Martin left that he was that good. Defence then he's gone gone with one defender, so he's gone obviously with Norman Hunter at the back. Norman Hunter's Norman Hunter, isn't it? I don't think it's pretty self-explanatory. In midfield, he's gone for Ollie Decor, again, from kind of the Champions League era. He was a big fan of him, and then he's gone for that with Johnny Giles playing alongside him. And then up top, he's gone for Alan Clark as well. So I think that five-a-side team would take some beating if they could all play together in the prime. I wonder how much it'd be worth.
Yeah, definitely. The sniffer up top as well.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking how many yellow cards that forward pick up with Hunter, Decor and Giles. I'm thinking how many cards to pick up, to be fair.
Yeah,
definitely.
You can tell what kind of football my dad liked watching.
Kick him up by. Yeah. Get into him. First tackle. That's what it's like. Let him know you're there.
So Clark, though, remember when my dad used to do quite a lot of sportsman's dinners, they always picked out Clark, and the legends from like the 70s and that, Liverpool Everton legends, always said that Clark was the dirtiest player on that team. They always said that he always just used to be a bit more, they said sly, but I thought that's a bit harsh calling Alan Clark sly. But yeah, they said he was a bit of a sly player, to be fair. He always used to get away with it.
The word streetwise, mate, sounds better when
streetwise.
it's streetwise.
Yeah. We'll go streetwise. But I love that, mate. Ellis, we'll go to your team, mate. You'll go to very different kind of angle you're taken on this team, and to be fair, nothing wrong with it at all. It's more of a modern team. Talk us through the board, mate.
I went for players that I was old enough that I've experienced in the club. So in goal, Melier, I think he's going to be one of the best keepers in the world. He's by far and away. So bearing in mind my first season was 03-04, but like really 05-06 is the first season I properly remember. Like Rob Green maybe, people talk about Ankergren being a good goalkeeper. I used to think he was shambolic. So Melier is there. Janssen is there over White, over everyone else, because I think at the time he was a signing that completely just revitalised the mood around the club. Like the way the fans took to him, I remember obviously the partnership had Janssen's magic chant. I remember at full time, a fist pump in front of the fans. I think like he was such a positive spin on where we were at the time. Like he lifted the entire club, and that's went for him. And then Pablo, I think is like, I don't think he's a legend in my opinion. The best signing, the best signing I've seen us make. Like the money we paid for him, like how much, nothing basically, and then the impact he had. That goal at Swansea, I think, will always be one that everyone's going to be like, okay, that was such a massive goal for where we are now. Rafinha, because like in terms of ability, the best player I've ever seen play for Leeds. Like, and he's only been here for 10 games. And then up top, I went for McCormack because without his goals, we would have been a League One side.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it. Like we'd be talking right now about a completely different picture. We wouldn't be a Premier League team without the impact Ross McCormack had. The way he carried that side was unbelievable. I think a lot of people obviously went to Fulham. He did the same there, to be fair, but people forget just how good McCormack actually was.
Yeah,
mate, I didn't forget. I played against him in a pre-season friendly for Farsley, mate, and they rocked up, mate, and it was the first pre-season friendly, it was the hottest day of the year. And they had Matt Smith and Ross McCormack up top, mate. So I didn't win anything in the air. And then Ross McCormack, I couldn't get the ball off him, mate. It was a long day that at Farsley, mate. I think it was 4 or 5-0. Long day that. But you're right, mate. Ross McCormack was so underrated. He was such a
technical ability. He was unbelievable. Man.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
he was, man. He was so good with the ball.
He scored against Sheffield Wednesday when he just literally he was on the halfway line. And he just literally must have took on about 3 or 4 players. And I think he touched the ball twice. And just 1, 2, and took about 3 or 4 players out of the game. And then he scored 4 at Charlton, was it? When we actually won in London, I think.
Yeah.
Remember that game as well? That was unreal. He made
his YouTube highlight reel would be unbelievable with the goals he scored. And he'll be one of those players that you see on the internet like in 15 years' time, and it'll be, what happened to Ross McCormack? And it'll show you all the goals, won't it? But he should have been a top Premier League player with his ability.
Yeah, he was brilliant. And say what you want about Janssen now, but Ellis makes a fantastic point. He came in at a time where we didn't have that. He came in that Cellino era, I think we had him on loan him first. I think he was ready for quitting football at Torino, I think it might have been. And he came in and he was beating his chest. And we know now with hindsight, in the end, for me, he became a little bit of a parody. He was a bit of a tit. And that's hampered it for some people. The younger generation still love him. But he came in, he was absolutely unbelievable. He was. He came in at a time when we weren't great and he beat his chest and that. And I know now it's easy to say he was a clown. But he was unbelievable when he first came in, man.
Yeah. I think
Paddy?
the problem was, right, he knew. Yeah.
Come on, mate.
I was just saying that the thing is he knew how much the fans loved him, which was also his downfall in the end. He put himself above the team, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I was a big fan of Janssen, and then, like Ellis has just said, he kind of got a bit above his station, really, for me. And then if he'd have just, do you know what? He was one of my, obviously, as you know, Brownie. Me and him used to have debates on it all the time because he loved Janssen, thought he was great. When he let him go, he couldn't believe the price we let him go for. And I think it was one of them where, because we let him go so cheaply, initially we were all a bit shocked by it, weren't we? And thinking, who's going to fill that role? And there's times even this season when you look at us defensively sometimes, in defending set pieces, you think we miss a dominant centre-half at times. It just goes and wins an header. And we do miss that. But I can see why, obviously, the younger generation of fans love him. Like Ellis said, he kind of galvanised the supporters because there were a bit of a distance between the fans and the players around that time, wasn't there? We felt a bit of a distance. And then that's kind of when that all started turning and we started getting better on the pitch, getting better players in, brought Bielsa in. That's where it kind of just seemed to click, didn't it? And Janssen was a big part of it initially.
Mate, on away days, you'd love him.
Oh, yeah. I remember a game at Newcastle.
Mate, let's not forget, Oscar, just before you start, we used to do it with bloody Steve Evans, for God's sake. Steve. So let's not forget.
Some of us did. Half the fans didn't, because I'd never Steve Evans.
On away days, he was brilliant, man.
He was awful. Awful times.
Do you know what I think we get away from? I think, obviously, Janssen was it's an entertainment business, and as fans, you want to be entertained, don't you? You want to have them showmen, and that's what he was, wasn't he? At a time where we'd been pretty poor, he brought a bit of enjoyment, didn't he? Yeah. Fans were singing his songs drunk on a train, and do you know what I mean? It made it enjoyable, didn't it?
Mate, my kids knew the song.
Yeah,
my little girls knew the song. I used to sing it, and they'd say it themselves, and obviously not swear.
My girlfriend knew the song.
Yeah, it was like even my little girls Ponting Jensen's Magic, you know what I mean? So, and then Millie's only been to one game, girls aren't that into it, but I used to sing it, you know, because he was just that type of character, you know. He came in and you know, people are giving us stick in the comments for saying McCormack was good and Janssen was good, but it's easy with hindsight to say different, but they were both good players, man. McCormack scored some beauties. He scored some absolute beauties.
Look up, if you don't think Janssen was good for us, look up Newcastle away when Wood scored in that game. He was a one-man wall in that game. Some of the stuff he was doing in that game was just, we got battered, and then Wood popped up at the other end, and it was all Janssen though in that, and that was, I think that Monk season was like his peak kind of thing. He kind of dropped off after that, didn't he? Christensen
let's
came
not
in.
forget that summer he was linked with like Southampton Premier League moves, and we were all going, "Oh, I hope he don't go."
I didn't think we're getting back. Yeah. I didn't think we'd get him permanently, and when we did, it was unreal. To be fair, I mean, if you remember, the choice was pretty much in terms of the budget we had. It was Bartley or Janssen, and in the end, we went Janssen because he's a bit more technically gifted. And maybe in hindsight, you could say Bartley's obviously playing Premier League now, got promoted out of it. Maybe we should have gone Bartley, but I think most Leeds fans probably did kind of want Janssen because he's a bit younger. And he was good, Janssen. He was really good. I just think the fact Ben White's been so good, you've seen Robin Koch turn up, Llorente, Strauch, it probably makes Pontus not look that special now. But before them lot, Janssen probably was the best centre-back we had since Radeby, to be honest.
Yeah. That is a bold claim, mate. You'll be getting stick in the comments for that, I tell you that much.
No. Before Ben White and that lot, I'm just saying. Well, who else is going to be? Paul Butler?
No, it's fair.
Kisnorbo.
I love Paddy Kisnorbo, to be fair. Paddy, I loved him.
I just want to put this comment as well from Steve, who says he can't be a member at the moment. I just want to caveat that with saying we're not, if you can't be a member, nothing else is going to change from All Leeds TV. Everything will still be the same, right? We're not Don't think that anything you're going to lose out on things like that. If you can't, you can't. It's totally fine. Like you say, we've helped people through the last 12 months. You guys help me watching and all that sort of stuff because it gives us a release as well, being able to come and do this. And it helps me get away from the missus and the kids, man. It is what it
You're in trouble. You're in trouble now, mate.
But thanks for watching, Steve. Yeah, thanks for watching, buddy. We've done like an hour and a half. That's a nice long show. Thank you so much, both the guests.
We have got some votes initially on the poll.
Go ahead.
I think Tash has already put one out actually before we started. But so far from our members, 73% have gone with Paddy's dad on the teams. To be fair, which is. To be fair,
Ellis is not surprised.
It's not. I mean, Ellis knew. To be fair,
in fairness, my dad's 78 at the end of the month, Ellis. We had a lot more players to pick from, mate. So don't worry about it. To be fair, mate, if Leeds are in the Premier League for another 10, 15 years, mate, I'm sure your team will be up there.
Yeah, exactly. Chris, for those that are asking where the poll is on the members feed. If you go to the members feed on YouTube, that's where a lot of our stuff will be going now, guys. It'll be going on the members feed. So there's polls and all sorts on there as well. So if you want to vote on that, your player ratings, etc., they'll be on the members feed from now on. So just check that out on there. We will put it out on Twitter, of course, after the fact as well. But we get early access and all that sort of stuff on there. But it's been a great show. I want to thank the guests, Paddy. I know obviously you're not doing Talking Shut anymore, but where can we catch you on Twitter? You're always putting out decent stuff on Twitter, mate. Makes sense.
I'm always busy on Twitter, mate. Always busy on there. It's just at Padwar11. Just tweet general Leeds United stuff. Usually have a couple of debates with Oscar now and again.
I love a good debate, to be fair.
Yeah. Oscar gets debates all the time, bro. Oscar gets debates all the time.
Sometimes, like when he's on about like Messi and that, I just chirp in with Ronaldo randomly just to annoy him.
Just to annoy me. I know these things.
Just do the thing. Just do that all the time.
I like them both.
Yeah. I got stick the other day because I'm a Leeds fan and obviously played for them, but sometimes you've got to take that out and say, look,
I should think so and all. I
get it. But that's a long time ago.
Man United legend.
How many Champions Leagues has he won?
Don't know, mate. How many has he won?
I think he's won 5, has he? Does that sound about right?
Did he win them or did clubs win them? I don't think.
No, there we go.
Ronaldo's name was just put on the trophy.
Well, 9 times out of 10, he won the majority of them.
We?
To be fair, I mean, he won Portugal the Euros, didn't he?
In fairness, I've seen.
He wasn't on the pitch. He came off the pitch when they won.
This is what I'm saying. He got them there. And then when he came off the pitch, he was the fucking manager. The way he went on.
Oh, that was all for show. Come on, it was a Pontus moment. That you really think he was shouting? Honestly, when he went on that touch, no one else gets away with that. Imagine, right, if Harry Kane went on the touchline, the stick he'd get off the British media in a Euros final.
Like, he'd be going, come on, lads, kick it. You know what I mean? He ain't got a brain cell, Kane.
The thing is,
look
at Ronaldo. Real Madrid are linked to him again. Imagine a 36-year-old getting bought by Real Madrid at 36.
I think he does go back, to be honest. I think he... I don't think he stays. I think he does go back, to be honest.
Yeah, if I was him, I'd go back to Lisbon, finish here.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for the debate on Just Joe. I'm waiting for that, to be honest, where he's going to put... The title's going to be why Ronaldo is better than Messi in this lot. He's going to do it just to annoy me, kind of thing. He's going to...
Please subscribe to the Just Joe football show.
See, I plugged it for you then. I plugged it for you then. Give me content ideas, but it is what it is.
Yeah, cheers. And Ellis, of course, you're smashing it. You're already... I mean, to be fair, you should be plugging us, not us plugging you. But what are you doing over on away days, Ellis?
So usually I go to a different football match every week, but at the moment it's just football shirt stuff, football mystery boxes and everything. It's going well. It's good fun. Hopefully we'll be back at football soon. Hopefully.
I want to ask you a question. I don't know if this is really bad because really I should have watched the whole video. But earlier on while I was doing some on my computer, you're returning video for subscribers. Is this Messi shirt genuine? Did he wear it? And I got halfway through and then my missus called me back and I've not gone back to it. So I want to know, is it genuine? Did he wear it in them 4 games?
It was he potentially either wore it against Leganes or Atletico Madrid. There's another twist in that's happened. It's a mental saga. Like, it feels like I'm dragging it out for YouTube views, but like this whole thing is mental. Like, I still haven't touched it. I daren't touch it. There's been another twist, basically.
Oh,
So,
cool.
It's like
don't let Oscar know it's in the house, because Oscar loves Messi more than he loves Robin Koch. So he will be round your house, peering through that little green shrubbery you've got there, and he'll be trying to get that Messi shirt. I'm telling you.
There won't be any trying about it. I will get the shirt.
Now Ellis has come on here. Oscar's already got his IP address and tracked the house down, mate. He's already got it.
It's all sorted now. Ellis is going to be looking around this, coming through your wall in T-minus 20 minutes. Will be...
Just knock on the door, like...
Yeah, exactly. 8563 Robbie, leave a comment, not on the live chat, but on the video to this once it goes up, mate. Because all I've seen is you're having troubles joining the live stream. Joining members all the way through. I've not ignored you. I can see it. So just drop us a comment on this video and we'll get you sorted out, mate. But that's that, I think. I think that's that. Well, brilliant guest, Oscar, as per. Tomorrow night, we've got the ladies' show, so make sure you tune in for that. Wednesday, we've got our opposition preview. We've got two lads on from the Fulhamish pod. Thursday,
going early on that, aren't we, on as well, Wednesday? Going earlier, aren't we? 6 o'clock on Wednesday, aren't we?
Yeah, 6 o'clock, because there's a Champions League, isn't there, on 8 p.m. on the night. Thursday will be your big match preview, and then, of course, Friday's going to be game day. So keep it locked.
Quiz as well, Thursday. Quiz as well.
Well, we've got the quiz as well, yeah. Oscar, the quiz master, Chris Tarrant, will be live, yeah. So keep it locked to All Leeds TV as per. If anyone is curious about the members stuff and that, our new outro is our members chat as well, right?
Ellis, have you just spilled something on the Messi shirt there?
Eh?
Have you just spilled something on the
I
Messi
just
shirt?
dropped my bottle.
Is that a Love Island bottle? It looks like one of those Love Island ones where they got the name on it.
It's just...
Doesn't it? It looks like one of those Love Island ones.
Do you know what it is, Paddy? You're saying, done it. I don't watch it. I tell you my favourite thing about that, though, is that video when the guy goes, boring, Milner, and Milner's watching it. And he goes,
yeah.
It's brilliant, that.
Yeah.
Is that the one where he says, should I rap and that lot? And everyone goes, no, and that lot. Is that Love Island?
Yeah, don't act like you don't watch it.
Yeah. I
genuinely don't like it.
I don't watch it.
I watch some rubbish, but I don't watch that, to be fair. Although, I am re-watching Line of Duty, because that's back next Sunday. If you haven't watched Line of Duty, it is absolutely brilliant, and it's the final season starting on Sunday. So I'm watching them all again. Line of Duty, trust me, guys. BBC 3, it's on your Sky set-top box now. Watch it; it will not disappoint you. And I'll just leave you with that little pearl of wisdom there, guys. So we'll over and out and all that jazz. Peace. Would you like to join the All Leeds TV Members Club? We're really excited to announce this new feature on All Leeds TV. We've got 3 different tiers: Sergeant Wilco, Bielsa, The Don. You can join any tier you like. The first tier, Sergeant Wilco, will get you loyalty badges. You can be a loyal member of All Leeds TV for every month, 2 months, 6 months, 12 months, or even 24 months of being a member. You will have a specific badge that shows that you're loyal to the cause. You'll also have emojis available, guys. You've got Bielsa, Bamford, Rafinha, goal, All Leeds TV. More and more to come. If Bamford scores a goal, spam the chat with it. Spam the watch along. We're really excited and we want you to join us on this ride.
Next up, we have the Bielsa level, which is all of our members-only polls, and then we'll give you behind-the-scenes photos and status updates. And if you leave us a comment on any of our videos, you will have priority reply, so we will directly reply to you.
And last but not least, we've got the Don level. What benefits do you get from the Don level? Well, you get all the benefits that you get from the Wilco and Bielsa levels and some additional extras. Virtual video collaborations. Do you ever watch your post-match content and disagree with me, Joe or Tash? Well, this is your chance to put us right in our place and join us on the live player ratings, live post-matches and our phone-in shows also. We're also going to shout out all our members and follow you back on social media, and we're going to host an annual members' night